men don't want to take orders from a spade.
Spade? What kind of a word is that?
Oh, they all use it. There's no harm in it.
Like calling a man a wop.
All right. We know you're on their side.
I'll tell you something for nothing, Mitchell. When I see this union used to victimize a man because his skin's a different color, I'll get out. Sonny, can't you just walk to school?
Mister, kids don't walk no more, they roll.
British films have never been afraid to tackle serious social problems, whether they be of racial tension, class prejudice, or social pressures. In fact, such topics have resulted in some of the most powerful and memorable films made.
When I was a child, another boy touched me. He then held out his hand. "Look," he said, "nothing's come off on me." Trouble is, something came off on me.
To make things fairer, to get rid of all this poverty and dirt, and, well, to talk to people and make them see that all this has got to be changed, and that everyone's got to have enough to eat.
You're going to put the world right, eh?
I'm going to try.
One of the most popular social dramas was This Happy Breed. It was directed by David Lean, who later made such films as Lawrence of Arabia and Dr. Zhivago. This Happy Breed was an epic of a different kind, a look at British society between the two world wars.
Welcome to number 17, Mrs. Gibbons, and may all your days here be happy ones.
I'll be happy when I've had a cup of tea.
Most especially, it is about class prejudice.
I hate living in a house that's exactly like hundreds of other houses. I hate coming home from work on tube. I hate washing up and helping Mum darn Dad's socks and listening to Aunt Sil keeping on about how ill she is all the time. And what's more, I know why I hate it. It's because it's all so common. There. I suppose you think I'm getting above myself, and I can't blame you. Maybe I am. But I can't help it. And that's why I don't think I'll be a good wife for you. However much I loved you. And I do. I really do.
The skill of the film was to show society over a broad canvas of 20 years, between 1919 and 1935, and yet still making it a personal and emotional piece.
That's fine. All right. One for two only.
Spending a lot of your money already. Won't it no more? Come here, give me that chocolate. Give it here. Right, come here. Come here.
Another film dealing with attitudes of class was Bank Holiday. It shows various people from different backgrounds travelling to the seaside for the weekend.
Just you behave yourself, see?
Oh, not at all. What do you think you are, Lady Mac?
Oh, I was only pleased at finding a young man being so polite. Oh, me hair's coming down. Oh, we must have thought I looked a scarecrow.
Well, shut it. He's got something better to do than to look at you. Come on, kids.
One of these days. You wait.
Push over, mate. What's your game? Take your turn, see that stuff down there in his house, can't you? Anybody with half an eye, I don't know what you're doing. Hearts and things. You'll be on hand, will you? Yes, you'll be on hand.
Come on out, don't strike a fight just as we don't...
Get out of it, will you? There you are. See the sort of people we're mixing with. I told you we ought to call the South End.
Attention, please. Next train for Betsborough. Number 2 platform.
The film made a star of the young Margaret Lockwood as a nurse trying to spend an illicit weekend with her boyfriend. The amusing results reflected a common problem of the time when such things were socially frowned upon.
Thank you. Go on, call him over.
I don't know. You said you'd been to a big hotel before.
I think we ought to pretend we're married.
Jeff, I haven't got a ring.
I've got one. It's the third finger of the left hand, isn't it?
Jeff certainly thinks of everything.
Don't call me that.
What?
Well, I told you. I asked you not to before.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. You've been out with Jeff.
Oh, dear, it's rather early.
I'll see if I can find you a later one.
Let's talk about something.
I can't think of anything.
What?
No, nothing.
When shall we do...
Does the charge include breakfast?
I don't know. I think so. I never eat breakfast.
You mean you never eat breakfast? I never knew that.
Now, sir. I want a double room for myself and my wife. We want a room facing the sea. With a private bath, 18 and 6, isn't it? Does that include breakfast?
I'm sorry, we're all booked up.
Oh. Oh, well, what's your next price?
I'm afraid we do nothing at all.
Oh, but surely. Well, absolutely nothing at all.
I'm afraid not, sir. One moment. I've got a small single room. Would that do you?
What do you think, dear?
Well, no, I don't think it would do at all.
A much tougher view of the working class came in This Sporting Life.
That's it, Frank. Well done, lad.
The film was an uncompromising view of the pressures of the modern world.
Warm? You know we can't use all that coal, Mr. Machin.
Don't worry, I'll fetch you a load home from Pitt. Mr. Johnson, this is Mrs. Hammond. Ian and Linda.
We haven't much in for tea.
Don't boast about it. Mr. Johnson might get the idea we're poor. You sit down. Ah, then, young love. Ooh, you're getting very heavy.
Hello.
Tell me, what have you been doing?
Been out shopping with me, Mum.
Have you now? Where else did you go?
We went to see our Dad.
How did the match go? Did you win?
He played a blinder, Mrs. He played a blinder.
Oh, did he? And have they signed him on?
Yes, not as quick as that. But after today's match, he'll be able to ask anything he likes. Isn't that right, Frank? Frank, isn't that right?
I don't know.
It won't pay them to turn you down, you know, lad.
Sure they'll give him it, Mr. Johnson.
Aye, he'll sail away.
Starred Richard Harris as a rough, violent rugby player who is as temperamental on the pitch as he is off, as he deals with the prejudices of those around him.
Look, I've got the cheque here in my pocket. £1,000 in letters and in numbers. Signed, sealed and delivered, Frank Mershall. They drove me home in their car. A bloody Bentley.
It's very good.
You don't sound very excited about it.
It's a bit more than I got when my husband died.
Well, isn't that right bloody handsome of you?
You didn't have to do anything for it.
You mean I didn't have to get killed for it?
Some people have life made for them.
That's right, Mrs. Hammond, and some people make it for themselves. It's about time you took that ton of rock off your shoulders. And don't wake me in the morning, I might be dead.
In When the Bough Breaks, Patricia Rock plays a newly married mother who finds that life can play cruel
My
tricks.
name is Adams. Look, I don't quite know where to begin.
Is it my husband?
Yes.
Has he had an accident?
Well, in a way, yes.
Oh, he's not dead.
Oh, no. No, he's quite well.
Then where is he?
Mrs. Gardner, I'm a police officer. Your husband has been arrested.
Arrested?
I'm afraid this is going to be a bit of a shock for you. Especially...
Please, what's happened?
Your husband, that is Mr. Gardner, has been arrested for bigamy.
Can I speak to you for a minute?
Film deals honestly with sensitive and emotional issues of the 40s,
No.
bigamy and adoption. It was produced by one of Britain's few female producers and skillfully mixes sentiment with a
I've been
message.
sitting upstairs all this time thinking. Thinking till my head aches with it. Can I get you something? No, I'll be all right. I've been thinking. What happens when you have a child adopted?
What happens?
Does it mean you never see them again?
No, not necessarily.
Do you know of anyone? Would you?
That depends on whether you're really ready to give him up.
I only want what's best for Jimmy. Of course. I can't give him the sort of things you can. I can't even bring him up properly as long as I've got to go out to work. He looks so fit and well now, and I can tell he's put on weight. If you want him, I think I ought to let him go.
Are you quite definite about this?
Yes, I think so. I'd give anything to have him. I think I love him nearly as much as you do. Nobody could do that. I know I'll miss him, wish I hadn't done it, but I only want what's best for Jimmy.
Material facts of the case are not in dispute, and the issue before me is therefore comparatively simple. Shall the boy remain with his foster parents or return to his mother? Now, it is clear that Mrs. Collins knowingly and willingly transferred the care of her child to Mr. and Mrs. Norman. It is not clear exactly what she intended when she did so. Was their care to last for life or for a few years only? Both parties must share the blame for consenting to such a transfer without some document setting out exactly what the arrangement should be. And I must observe at this point that it would save a great deal of worry and distress if kindly people who are seeking to adopt a child would do so through a reputable adoption society, and not through some haphazard personal contact, as in this case.
Now, Gwen, I want you to come over.
Another controversial film made in the 40s was Goodtime Girl, starring Jean Kent.
Well, Gwen,
It is an unflinching look at juvenile courts and girls' ball stools.
You can't. Please sit down, Mrs. Rawlings.
Turn it up.
Has the probation officer anything to say?
This is rather an unusual case, Your Worship. Gwen's only 16, and I'm afraid her home life hasn't been very good. There are 5 in the family, 2 boys and 3 girls. Her father earns £5.12 a week when he's in work, but there's been rather a long history of unemployment, and I'm afraid a great deal too much of the money has been spent on drink. Gwen left home about 3 months ago, she says, because her father thrashed her.
Mr. Rawlings, did you thrash your daughter before she went away?
I did.
Any good reason?
She got the sack from a job for pinching.
Its realistic violence and critical stance meant that for a year, British censors refused it a certificate.
Be quiet. Stop this noise. Girls, be quiet. Well?
We were just doing some exercises, matron.
Don't try and cover up, Roberta. Has Gwen been troublesome?
No. It's only that she's new, that's all.
I've warned you, Gwen. I shan't do it again. Now, come along, girls.
Hey, you! Where's my clothes?
I've told you. These are your things while you're with us.
And I told you I wouldn't be seen dead in that muck. You bring my own clothes or I'll knock your buck off, you silly old faggot.
Oh, Miss Mills.
Juvenile liaisons.
Juvenile liaison. The care of the young, Sergeant.
Problem children were a feature of British films. Violent Playground had Stanley Baker as a policeman trying to cope with a whole school of them.
The toddlers? Me?
From 5 to 17. Keeping them out of trouble.
Handling kids is not my line at all, sir.
You volunteered, Sergeant.
Oh, no, sir, about this Firefly.
Forget your fires, and your crooks, and your murderers. And spend your time seeing that the children of this city grow up a little less antisocial than some of their elders.
Sir, I know it's important, but well, I don't even like kids. I'm clumsy, I'm tactless, I'm brutal,
You're a juvenile liaison officer. That's all.
But the film also managed to have a sense of humor amongst the drama.
It's a hard case, isn't it, Sergeant? Sergeant, I'll tell you just what to do with that stick of yours.
What do you want him to do with his stick, Sergeant?
Never you mind what I want him to do with his
What
stick.
I want to know. We want to know what you want him to do with his stick.
Well, it was just a joke, sir.
What was the joke, Sergeant?
Look, there's a Bentley.
No, it isn't. It's a Mark 7 Jaguar. Do you not know the difference between a Bentley and a Jag?
I didn't see it right.
Were you never a detective? Ask him again. Were you never a detective?
Yes, I was a detective.
Were you no good as a detective? Ask him again. Were you no good as a detective? Is that why you're here, sir?
Ask no questions and you'll be told no lies.
Would you tell a lie?
You, tell him to stop asking questions.
Dry up, kid.
By contrast, the same team of producer Michael Rilf and director Basil Dearden were much more serious in their treatment of the racial problem in the film Sapphire.
These spades are a load of trouble. I reckon we should send them back where they came from.
We wouldn't have half this bother if they weren't here.
Well, I suppose you're right. Just the same as you wouldn't have old ladies being covered by hooligans if there weren't any old ladies. So what do? Get rid of the hooligans or the people they bash? Look, Phil, given the right atmosphere, you can organize riots against anyone. Jews, Catholics, Negroes, Irish, even policemen with big feet.
This house is my...
The blend of an exciting police thriller and an examination of the slyness of colour Prejudice deservedly won Sapphire the British Academy Award for Best Film of 1959.
It's people like you who made her sly. Will you jolly well got another room empty now?
Patsy.
Yes?
You took Sapphire home to Guildford, didn't you?
Yes.
Did you tell your father and mother she was coloured?
No.
Well, then, don't be so quick to call me prejudiced.
Now, I'm just giving you facts, and don't throw the colour bar at me. I've fought that one all my life.
Oh, yes, I know. Some of your best friends are spades.
Now, look here, I didn't mention that.
Why do you talk to me like this? Do you think I'm a fool, an ignorant man? Why do you talk to me like this? There's the door, you say. Find yourself a black girl, you say. Why do you talk to me like this? Only one reason, the old reason, this skin.
In Flame in the Streets, the problem is dealt with head-on, an argument that is still relevant today.
You know, in other countries, they have better ways. There, they tell you. Keep up, nigger. Walk on the gutter, nigger. Signs up all the time. But here, there's no sign. But we can tell. You smile at us, never with the eyes, only with the mouth.
Does his lordship work in the mill town? No. Does his lordship have to sleep 5 in a room? No. No, his lordship lives in luxury on the rent you pay him.
The theme of politics is beautifully handled in Fame is the Spur.
My friends, our forefathers had a cry. Bread and liberty. That's all they asked for.
Bread and liberty. Got a sword in our house. It's all about that. Shut up. I want to hear.
We're not the first to have to put up this fight.
Michael Redgrave plays a prospective Labour candidate not afraid to make his point.
But I have one that I have often put to myself, which I should like to put to every man and woman in this room. It's a very simple question. You and I were born poor, born without rights, born to labor all our days, to keep roofs over our heads, to get a bare living for our loved ones. Yet some few others, with no gift, no special virtue, are born to ease and luxury. The houses we live in are theirs, and we must pay to live in them. The very fields which, with unconscious irony, we call our land, belong to them. And if we enter their fields, we're bustled off as vulgar trespassers. Why is this? My friends, you will remember our Lord's question to the Pharisees. Is this from heaven or of men? And that is the question I would like to put to you about the life of the poor and the rich. Did God ordain it? This contrast between sweat and ease, between want and luxury? Or is it the product of man's will?
Odd Man Out is about the most difficult of political dilemmas, Northern Ireland. It features another lonely man, James Mason, who is being hunted down across the city. The film deals expertly with the Irish situation on an extremely personal level. Its message is of love, not violence, of people, not politics.
You don't believe in it, then? I believe in everything we're trying to do. But this violence isn't getting us anywhere.
You were sentenced to 17 years imprisonment for bringing guns and ammunition to the dumps. You talk about violence.
In prison, you have time to think. If only we could throw the guns away, make our cause in the parliaments instead of in the back streets.
Look, Johnny, hiding in this house for 6 months since your escape from prison, it isn't the right kind of training for a job like this. You were in prison for 8 months before that. It's over a year since you were able to get out and show your face in the streets. You're not fit to go right out on a job like this. Let me go.
Let him go, Johnny.
Do I look soft, then?
Well, the men have noticed something. You've changed lately. They want me to go in your place.
Don't they trust me?
They trust you, all right, but...
Dennis, I'm the leader of the organization in this city. I've spent months planning this raid to get the funds for all the things we need, for Maureen and her husband and the others. I've got my orders and I'll see them through. When I want your advice, I'll ask for it.
I only know that what I feel is stronger than my religion, stronger than myself.
In the end, everyone makes sacrifices.
My faith is in my love.
You have neither the power nor the right to do this thing.
I believe that what I intend to do is good. It's all right, Johnny. I'm here.
Is it far?
It's a long way, Johnny. But I'm coming with you. We're going away together.
Climax is one of the most moving and pertinent scenes in the cinema.
There's their gun, sir.
Two shots fired.
Yes, sir. That's when we had to fire back.
It is a reminder of the power and beauty of British films at their very best.